grand opening. Woo-hoo!
For people who grew up in the Marshall Ridley neighborhood in Newport News, a grocery store is a welcome sight. For a long time, it was considered a food desert. No grocery store for miles, and only convenience stores.
The prices were so high, people couldn't afford to go there and buy fresh vegetables and whatever else they needed.
Jim's local market set up shop in May 2016, but closed in January of this year. The company blamed low sales and profitability.
And when I found out that the Piggly Wiggly was to open, I was real happy.
Although Piggly Wiggly is a national chain, a local company, Harrell & Harrell Incorporated, runs this location. A parent himself, Bert Harrell, says it's important to provide families with an affordable place to grocery shop with fresh items.
It's great. When I hear people say, now I don't have to walk, or now I don't have to drive 5 miles, or now I don't have to, fight traffic, and they can come to a store that, our people are going to know you by name.
The grocery store, a part of an overall plan to revitalize the neighborhood. City Manager Cynthia Rolfe says Newport News is in the running for a $30 million Choice Neighborhood Initiative grant. A major portion of the funds would go toward replacing housing in the Marshall Ridley neighborhood.
With new mixed-use type housing, different income levels, but all of the citizens that are currently living in that housing would have the opportunity to come back in the community. That's a very important part of the grant.
While they wait for the grant, people who live in the area are just excited they can feed their families without trekking miles.
Come out and join us.
Elise Brown, 13 News Now.